Alright, so I am doing Math 215, and this is it's a required course for business majors, econ majors, and stuff like that. And so it's somewhat difficult in the sense that there's just a ton of material that has to be covered. We're going to be playing with the start here part. I have not made my welcome video yet either. This is the first time I've ever done an online course, so I figured it would be a really bad idea to do the welcome video first. Because I had not ever made a video before. So that's on the to-do list. I got my course mapping worksheet, which needs more work. That thing has been the bane of my life. I shared some of this with Laura last week, that I spent probably the first 4 weeks on this thing, and then need to redo some of it. And I really understand and appreciate the idea of working on some of those things first, but I really feel like it crippled me this semester, because now, I would love to, hey, I got finals and stuff, but this course goes live in 2 weeks, so I'm crushed, and I really felt like I sank way too much time doing that, and I've got to re-change some of it now. I think it would have been much better for me to spend a little time on it, start dabbling with making the videos. And I think maybe in the future, one suggestion, I know it might not be at that point quite yet, but, for people that have a semester or 2 or 3, or like Adrian's running this in the fall, like I think it's okay for them to take a little more time on some of these things. But for people that are doing it the next teaching block, they need to be working on an accelerated time frame, and they need to think about making a few lectures like by the end of 2 or 3. Get used to the tech, to get used to things, because I think that would have really helped me. I didn't start making my videos until a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and so I'm just kind of buried right now. What I do have is I've got things broken up by weeks. So this is a 7-week course. That's nice, because if I do teach it over a normal semester, it'll get popped 14 pretty easily. It's a little more clicks than I kind of wanted to do, because I go each week, and then in week 1, so week 1 is going to be the first 5 sections of the textbook, and then each one has another subgoal. Now, the reason why I actually ended up doing this is because eventually I want to get away from using the MyMathLab videos. MyMathLab has section videos that they've built for the textbook for this version. On one hand, that's great. On the other hand, it's horrible, because that's that much less I have to do. I don't like the way they do some things, which means I have to redo it. I've seen, I think, at least 4 different presenters on these videos. So it's not even like, hey, here's the one person that's going to be doing the videos. There's been, I think, 3, if not 4 of them already. And so it's, hey, you get to see my face on the welcome video, and then once in a while, and you get to see these 4 other people, and at some point you're just going to forget who's actually. And so that consistency, or lack thereof, rather, really bothers me. So, if I teach this next summer or the following summer, my hope is to eventually just have my own videos for everything, and not rely on them for anything. So what I have for every section, I'm going to have a short intro video. And what I did...
All right, so in section R1, the main idea is to get you used to and remind ourselves thinking about what certain graphs and equations look like. And so what Laura really helped me with, and she had a really good idea, is making sure that I basically write all this stuff up first, and then just kind of talk over it. One of the things that I feel I lose a lot of time, even in class, is writing stuff down, waiting for students to finish writing before I talk. And so although there's something to be said about being able to discuss what I do next before I write it down, on some things it's just such a basic level that it's just going to almost be like me reading to them of, here's what we've got, I'm going to read this to you, talk about it, talk about things to be careful of, hit the different ideas, concepts that's going on, and just bounce from slide to slide. I can show you a little more interesting one. In R4, in this section,
so in this one, you're talking about basically lines, and you do a lot of stuff with the slope intercept on point slope form. And one of the things that students I have found struggle with is when to use which one, and then also when you get around to dealing with, horizontal lines fit this mold because they have zero slope. Vertical lines don't. So it makes it really easy. Just using a color scanner, I can color things, I can highlight things, I can make it a little more important than obvious as to, hey, pay attention to this thing, general thing. And so that's been nice. So I'm having an intro video for every section. In the very first section, so in this R1 section, I also put together, this one I had to use, or I didn't have to, but I ended up using Zoom for.
All right, so what we're going to do is
because I wanted to get them used to seeing what the interface looks like for the homework system, because most of the homework is going to be done online. And so what I did is I just, pulled it up and I showed them how it works. This first problem that I'm showing them, it's actually a graphing tool. And so on this one, you can't see it really well, but they want them to graph a cubic. To graph a cubic, it's a 3-3 poly, you need 4 points. And so I kind of go through the process of showing them once you click 4 points, it then blocks the polynomial, and then you can. So this was just kind of a short video on how to get used to that interface.
I go over how to use the graphing tool.
No.
So notice we're looking at.
Hey, there's the mute button. I found it. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, or what I actually already have this done, is so for like R1, you watch the intro video. This is me introducing everything. The next video is getting used to the interface. And then this link, quasi works. It takes them straight to the My Math Lab section for this stuff. So the current problem is there's no way to let them or even get it so I can make sure it's working without moving the open date till now. So until it's actually open, the link just doesn't. Once 5:10 happens, then they can actually go here. This is where it's going to have their video, or here's the Pearson video on the section, and then the homework problems, and then they can do that. And so the idea is that, as they go through this, you watch video, go to My Math Lab, watch their video, and then just rinse, repeat, basically. Right now, I've got the first week's worth of videos done. I do not have any of the other videos done, but I've got all the folders and I've got the links already made. The thing that I'm a little worried about is I haven't been able to get a hold of our Pearson rep for the last 3 or 4 days, and right now this is linked to my Math Lab, but this is the shell. This is not my actual course. From talking to people, if you copy things before you delink it, it causes problems. So I'm trying to make sure I don't break anything but if I don't hear back from her in a day or two, I just have to work because there's 2 weeks from where this opens. So I'm having some difficulty with some of that.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
I just thought about something. Can you try copying it to an empty shell and see if it breaks the links as a test? And then you would know that it won't break it if you move it to your actual course.
I could try it. I talked to Olga Donnelly. She went through this last year, and she said that if you copy the shell with it linked, it really messes up My Math Lab.
Okay.
And there's 2 courses linked to it, and it gets confused.
Yeah.
She said it just goes haywire. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to delink it, and then I'm just going to start playing around with it. The other problem that we're running into, Laura and I, is trying to figure out exactly how to go through the review process where people have to have administrator or at least TA right so they can go see, oh, I do have all my videos up. I've got the stuff because they're going to be looking for it to do. And P.S., they also are going to have the ability to change things and make sure they don't mess up the course. So.
Well, I know there's a way, I've done this viewers where if you log into Pearson, you get like 14 days free access.
Yeah, but you can't see the stuff if it's not available. Like right now, like you can't see any of the,
right.
because it's not open. And so what I have is I have things set up. If we look at the schedule, this might not be the best. How did you guys just automatically pop up?
With the PDF.
file. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't PDF'd everything yet. Laura probably helped. Something else to do later. So short version is, because there's so much stuff, this probably doesn't help you a whole lot. There's videos every week. There's quizzes every week. There's 3 tests and a final exam. All of my exams are going to be on Friday. So with the exception of the first week, what we're doing is we're going to have homework we do Tuesday and Thursday. So there's going to be on Friday, so pretend we actually make it through the first week. From there on, it's consistent. We're on Friday. The next week's material opens up. First couple sections are due on Tuesday. Next couple sections are due on Thursday. And then you got a quiz or test Friday. And then on that Friday, the next week's material opens up. The first week, I'm going to give them a little bit of extra time probably just because they've got to get used to the Blackboard interface. Right. And so there's just not a lot of time for them to use. I've actually already emailed my entire class and told them, I sent them a draft of the syllabus, and I told them the 2 things to pay attention to are A, making sure they get the right book, and initially that sounds obvious, but if you buy a used book, it doesn't come with access codes for the online homework system. And the tests have to be proctored. And so if they're truly going to be doing it at a distance and they can't come into when I'm giving the exam, they've got to find a proctor. And that's a multi-day step process. So because summer timelines are so ridiculous where they only have like 1 day to drop and get all their money back, I'm letting them know now, hey, if you're not going to be around for the exams, you need to start thinking about proctor. And if you can't find a proctor, you probably shouldn't take this course. And it's something you want to think about now before you can't get all your so there's that. What else did I want to talk about? Laura, I still haven't had time to play with the grades yet. So theoretically, the My Math Lab is supposed to link straight into the grades, and then I just have to figure out how to insert all the columns for that, and then do the test columns and everything else. Mm-hmm. Virtual office hours, I could have shown you on the syllabus, but it's easier to just say. Because my course is so big and I'm teaching a standard course also, and I'm typically always busy students, I'm having traditional office hours and I'm having virtual office hours. So during the virtual office hours, I'm going to close my and so if that's dedicated explicitly to people at distance. And so I've got several of those kind of sprinkled throughout the week. Those will be done through Zoom. So on the virtual office hours, I've just got the link, short video that Laura put up there for me. And then if for some reason they can't get a hold of it, then they can email me, call me, put all that information on the syllabus. Group collaboration.
Ed, you're an expert on Zoom now.
I'm getting better at it. I called IT. So fun thing with Zoom. So if you're not there, it sends you an email. Well, that automatically gets put in clutter folder. Yeah. So I think I figured out how to do that. So next time we meet, we'll try that again. Gotcha. I think I got it removed from the clutter folder, but stupid things like that. Just do what? I think you got in the clutter folder wrong. Yeah, but I get a lot of crap that I get probably 60 spam messages a day that I don't want to do.
So do you like using VoiceThread to do your whiteboard?
So far, yeah. That's been, I'll be honest, I haven't tried anything else. It seems more friendly than Zoom for that. And again, at the moment, I'm in the get it done, even though it's not going to be very polished. It's just got to go live in 2 weeks. So one thing that I've tried putting on here, and Laura's helped a bunch, is trying to get this kind of collaboration going. You know, one of the things I always encourage in my classroom is meet some people, talk to your neighbor, get some study groups going, and that's kind of hard to do in a distance class. So this is something where they can, try and email each other, do other things. I have no idea how successful it's going to be, but I figured, if I put it there and they don't use it, that's okay, but if it's not there and they wanted it, then I should have had it. So hopefully that'll help. That's my course in a large nutshell.
What level is this course?
The 200 level.
Okay. Because I don't know about you, but I have several students who have no idea that they can send email to anyone in class. Like, they don't know that that tool exists. And I'm like, very easy. Yes, you can email them.
Yeah.
So-
This is why I haven't made the welcome video yet. And so there's just a laundry list of things I'm going to include.
Right. Well, but I guess it's also, I don't know if we have that Blackboard or like a, sort of a YouTube video of how to classmates, but that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Maybe like for that, and I'm for myself. Actually, in all of my classes, it's not an excuse not to go. Your classmates, and I don't really want to have to go through it all the time. Tell you how to do it.
Yeah. And I think it's just blatantly obvious. Like once you just go here,
Right.
Email all users, email.
I know it is, but
Right.
to a 200 level. I think by the
Right.
time I have 381, they've got it. But my 200 level, they mind-blowing purple stuff.
Yeah.
This might actually be a 100 level.
Yeah.
You know, it's not.
Oh, really?
It's labeled a 2, but it's borderline. Yeah.
I mean, they might be also.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a huge range. I mean, you have first semester freshmen, and I've got one student that, this is literally his last class. He was asked, have exams, and is it proctored? And I'm like, yes, and yes. And he's like, oh. Literally the last class he needs to graduate, and he put it off till summer for an online version. And,
They're easier.
right. Right.
Is your Zoom a professional or?
Yeah.
So how are you going to do that with your online office hours? Or your virtual hours, it'll just be first come, first serve?
Well, you can have up to.
Well, you can you can stay on Zoom a limited number of hours. Like you and I can stay on Zoom for 4 hours straight. But if Adrian comes into the picture, then we can only stay on for 40 minutes.
Right.
But then if you log off, then him and I can stay on for an unlimited number of times. So it's good for office hours in that way for the free version. It's only like you or one other student. But once you have like a whole class or more than one student join, that's when it's limited to.
And you just have to close it, open it back up.
Right, and it's just the same link. So yeah, it's inconvenient to have it shut down, but you just start back.
Because I'm doing all online next semester, I just like.
Well, have you got it already?
Well, it's going offer. So
Okay.
why? Do you know something?
Well, it was I guess this public information. It wasn't but it was announced. Richard Tiscutter has announced about getting Zoom Pro license first at the first budget hearing. It was proposed, so I guess it probably depends on
Not fast enough for you or me.
probably not for 2
No.
weeks, but maybe for fall. Maybe
I need it.
I mean, it's like $100 a year.
Yeah,
so-
it's not too bad.
Was that all in it?
So I mean, but just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah, I kept asking. I asked.
One thing that is nice, I was going to see if I can find it, is that my math lab has a calendar. So this isn't the prettiest thing, but like you can actually see, so on Wednesday, you can see this is when everything opens up. And then that first batch is due Friday, and then the next week opens up. And then when you go to the next week, it's fairly obvious that, okay, they've got some more icons, so let's see what they mean. So, Tuesday got more stuff, Thursday got more stuff, Friday next week opens up. The thing that drove me crazy is, and Laura and I played with this for a while, you can create events and schedule them here. But if it's not a native My Math Lab thing, it won't show up. So what I was trying to do is try and put a big, giant, bolded, hey, there's a test this day thing, and you can't do it. Like, it just doesn't. So
I think the key thing with videos too, like you were to create your own videos, you had to make as an assignment, like you had to assign points to have them watch it,
So, I mean, they do get 1 point for watching the video, but they can literally open it and walk away. So,
You show us videos or something? For the do that.
yeah, I could if I change. Well, hang on.
Don't worry about it. I think
The problem is the dates are messed, and
don't worry.
this doesn't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, the My Math Lab.
Yeah.
Well, let me see if I can pull. Well, I'll show you later.
Yeah.
So that's what I got here. Reflect on the last 12 weeks. Absolute chaos. It's been a rough semester for me, just with a lot of other things going on. So, again, you know, the whole doing it right before you're going to teach, life happens, and it's just been like survival mode, right? Has your perception of online learning teaching changed? Some aspects yes, some aspects no. Some of it's actually easier than I thought. You know, I literally thought I was going to have to do what some of the people in the videos did, is set up a literal camcorder and, you know, record things or have overhead cameras looking down. Now, granted, my life was easier because most of the videos were pre-made, but with my math, with VoiceThread and Zoom, it really, that makes some good videos. I do still struggle with making the personal relationship and getting a good rapport. One of the things that I'm really good at is joking around with my students and making them go, or not making them, but suggesting them to go watch Wreck-It Ralph little snippets, or there's a Spaceballs quote that I love making them watch. And the idea is that sometimes what looks like non-information is actually a good information if you know how to interpret it. You know, when you try and solve 1 over x squared equals 0 and you clear it and you get 0 equals 1, that's a ridiculous statement, but you know how to interpret it. And if you just see that and you're like, well, that's false, and you don't know where to go, then there's a problem. So it's hard to get that, you know, the hey, let's take a break, joke around for 15, 20 seconds, clear our brain mentality with distance.
I have another question. When are you going through the QM process?
I'm doing the QM process. I'm supposed to be done with everything. What do we say, Laura? Next Wednesday?
I think it was the 1st, May 1st.
It was May.
Or
Yeah, he was the 1st. I think I'm the 3rd. So the 3rd is when everything's going to be done, and I'll start the self-review, I think. And then, yeah.
I was just asking because I don't know, and maybe I missed a beat or something, but could, because of that link thing that with your math lab and screwing it all up, is it possible to review his actual course as opposed to the shell? Would that make it easier? Because I'm all about, like, don't make me do it twice just for funsies, but especially when you're dealing with time.
What I'm kind of thinking about doing is tomorrow when I get in and see what I can do without breaking everything, which probably breaking stuff anyways. What I'm kind of envisioning is, because you can actually copy your course in my math lab, and so what I'll probably do is I'll have my main course, I'll make a copy, and I'll link a copy to the shell, and then let the reviewers use the shell, and then my actual 215 Summer NL1 course linked, and that'll be separate from what reviewers have access to. That's what I'm thinking about doing, if I can figure it out.
Typically, we don't do that because, well, I guess if they're a student, but still they could see, like if they did the email option, they can still see all the student names.
Right.
I mean, they won't have access to their grades or anything, but FERPA,
Right.
all that stuff. That's why we typically just report shows.
Got it.
So I'm hoping that
We add them as, I think there's a level that we can add them and they won't see the grades. But the thing is, you know, the fact that they won't be able to see the rest of the assignments.
Right.
But I just wanted to tell you that if you also want to do the review after you teach the class, that's totally fine.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to delay it, but
if I delay it, it's have to be
it's
all
an
in
option.
fall, because summer's difficult for me right now. So I'll let you know in a few days, and if it's not looking like I'll get my videos done. Yeah. If I pull a Ralph and I completely wreck this thing, then we'll see how it goes. But I really just want to get it all like done pretty much.
Right.
And I'm not
And
saying
the review is online also, so if you're on vacation or whatnot, you can do it from wherever you are.
Yeah, I'll see how the next few days go. Other questions?
How many students do you have in this so far?
26. Yeah. But not too excited. I was hoping for like 15, reasonable size for the first one.
Find out how well. Pretty quick.
Right.
So just speaking from experience with several different online class stuff, the more you can do yourself a favor and have it all done before you put it live, better. It just gets so big. I don't know about how your process is, but sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that like 2 minutes. I forgot because I had 8,000 to grade and life and whatever. So, to delay it to the fall, that purpose, but just power through.
Yeah. It's definitely been helpful going through it linearly and actually thinking about it.
Yeah. One thing that Laura and I started looking at the self-review process, and this is something else we talked about last week. I know we had that like 3-hour, training thing, but I wish that would have been something that was kind of worked with throughout the process, because there's several things like on the, is this thing taken care of? Is this thing taken care of? That had I been thinking of that continuously, I could have easily embedded some of the stuff, and I still can since I don't have many videos made, but I can work on that. But had I, if I had done all of that stuff and then was like, oh, I got to go re-edit all my videos and make sure that would have been more problematic. So, I think that helped too, especially again for people that are on tight schedule.
Well, thank you. Round of applause.